didn't say anything before, and I meant to. I don't know if anybody's even there. That's all right. There we go. In celebration of Jeff receiving his WKRP in Cincinnati, we're going to talk about sitcoms.
And this will be one of them.
That'll be one of them. Absolutely. How do you avoid that, right?
I know you can't avoid WKRP.
No. How's your day going?
Oh, good. Just work, typical day.
Yeah.
We're Saturday. We're looking at more houses. I think we're gonna go all in on this one house. So hopefully it'll work.
Right on. Good for you.
It'd be nice to have that gone.
Yeah. I said, oh, somebody typed a comment. It was you.
Yeah.
See, was it last week or 2 weeks ago you wore my shirt? Now I have your shirt on tonight.
I didn't even notice. Yeah.
And we'll have a new Maritime Centennial.
I'm logged into the wrong account on YouTube here.
Oh, are you? Oh, instead of the Go Game Go one, yeah.
Yeah, it's the original one. Oh, well. Well, how that happened?
That was quite a little stream Stu had earlier.
I saw he had a bunch. He's got a bunch of views already.
That's good. That's good. Really good.
Yeah, that was obviously a really popular.
Well, they were really interesting to listen to. What was his name?
Toby Jepson.
Toby Jepson. I can remember Jepson of all things. I couldn't remember Toby. But, that was really good.
Oh.
I hear Perry.
Yeah, oh, she's barking at. She's not over here by the window, so.
I've got Treacle here with me tonight. And I also.
Oh, Streets Rage 4.
Yeah.
All right.
So take a look at that. Right.
We're going to have to play that very soon.
For sure. Try it out. I mean, it plays the same as the old one, right? It's just modernized. Yeah.
Completely different graphics. They have some cool things like for the health pickups, instead of a turkey, they give you an option of what you want. They give you like several options of what you want to see in the game.
Okay.
Which is a cool little touch, I thought.
Yeah. Right on. Right on. I also picked up this last week.
Oh, Civ 6.
Have you ever heard of that, or that version?
Yeah, I think that's the only version on the Switch. I think
probably it was not expensive at all, like $20. But I don't know how it plays or anything. Like the console ones are so different than the computer ones. Like started with that back at Civilization 2 on the computer. I still enjoy playing it on the computer, Civilization 2 now. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. But man, it's one of these. It's Perry. There's Perry.
What an early Perry appearance.
And very much one more turn. All of a sudden, it's 3 hours later.
I've never played one.
No, it's
pretty good.
You like Civ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Civilization.
It man, just a time eater, big time. But a wicked fun game. Yeah.
I wonder how it is on the Switch.
Yeah. See, like I played it on the 360 of all things. I played the version that's much, much more cartoonish, but it still played quite well. It was a lot of fun.
You know what? Maybe I played it on the 360 because I do remember it. Like all the leaders, it was a cool look. It was it was a cartoon art style, but it was very cool looking.
Yep. Yep. Very quiet in the chat so far.
Let's see. Who do we have?
I don't even know how to check it if they haven't typed.
No one is commented except for C7 earlier today.
Yeah. Interesting comment. Like C7 sort of makes me think it's a bot or something like that, but that is too interesting of a comment to.
Yeah, the comment doesn't fit a bot, does it?
No, it's kind of relevant. That's really strange. Yeah.
Yeah. Bob Newhart's going to make it in the show twice.
Yeah. Undoubtedly.
Great show in the 70s, a great show in the 80s.
Yep. Now, I'm making noise. This came the other day too. Oh, did you hear? Did I tell you about my T-Public fiasco going on here now? I just lost your sound again. Oh no!
I dripped water on my keyboard and I'm flipping it upside down and I'm trying to wipe it with my shirt. Hey, my mom's watching.
Hey, Junebug. That came the other day.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, I ordered some too because I wanted to see how they looked. I'm gonna put that design on another shirt because I like the thick outline. It's really cool.
It was sort of strange because I ordered your shirt and I ordered this all at the same time, and then they gave me 2 separate shipping for it, and then I ordered my own stuff and as well as stickers, and it came the exact same way except for your shirts came, yours and the one I got of OEB Pete, and then my shirts came, then my stickers came, and then finally your sticker just arrived like Friday.
Huh.
It was really weird. That took a long time to get here. But anyway, we're going to tell you my story about T-Public. It was a freaking pain in the butt, really. It had been up quite a while. You got a shirt. There were about 20 shirts sold, roughly, 15, 20, whatever. And then all of a sudden I got a notice I'm thinking it was a week ago today, I believe. I got a notice from them that Atari had put in a claim against my design.
Wait, which design?
Well, I'm going to show you. Let's see here. So here's my original design. This is the one that's on. Oh, come on now, open up. It's just taking a second to open here, and I'll pop it up onto the screen.
I had to take down I had a Dreamcast shirt.
Oh, did ya?
I put it up, ordered it, they shipped it, and then they took it down. I'm shocked Sega even cares about Dreamcast.
Okay, here. Very strange, but anyway, here it is. This is the design, which is the one that's on your shirt. It's one on my shirts.
Oh, because of the. What did they have a trademark on the controller?
It has to be this. Has to be the controller right here. What else could it possibly be? Don't you agree?
Yeah, but even then, I don't know.
It's pretty sketchy at best, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
So last Friday morning, when they took it down, I didn't think that was worth arguing about. It just isn't. It is an Atari joystick. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Okay, if they want to claim that, whatever. It's petty, was my thought, but I'm not going to argue it. It's not worth it, right? So it was simple enough because can you see what else it could possibly be that Atari would have a problem with? Can you?
Because you got it in television controller.
Yeah.
The type isn't any kind of Atari type.
No, it's just a standard adventure out of any kind of word processor, right? So Friday morning, I adjusted it. Okay, now that's going to go white again here in a second, but I basically just took out the Atari controller and replaced it with that one. Okay, so that's just a generic joystick.
Right.
No claim whatsoever. Within an hour and a half of me re-uploading that new design, T-Public wrote me and said that I was in trouble for re-uploading a design they had already asked me to take down. They had already taken down. And said it was taken down. Obviously, it's taken down again. So I wrote them back, and I told them point blank, it's not the same design. The only thing that Atari could have had an issue with was an Atari joystick in my name, under my name. And I removed that, and I replaced it with a generic joystick, blah, 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 blah. It took you an hour and a half for me uploading it to you canceling it again. So I would hope that you would be able to actually have a person look at it, because obviously it would have been a bot or something. Like the file size was roughly the same. The name was roughly the same. It's just number 3 instead of number 2, right? Excuse me. And I have not heard a thing from T-Public about it since. And that's been, I think it was a week. It was a week Friday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they have not written me at all about it. So it's kind of no. I'm sorry, it was just last Friday. So it's been 4 or 5 days. But I thought that was extremely unprofessional on their part to not even acknowledge that their systems could have made an error, because there's nothing there for Atari to have claim with.
Well, I don't even understand how it would even be an automated thing because I was going to ask you if you changed the name, but you said you did.
It was changed like a little tiny bit.
Yeah, but
not much. But it was,
automated. All it takes is one character to be different, and it shouldn't pick up on that.
Anyway, they come back with a big blast saying you can get a lot of trouble if you just ignore our takedown request, re-upload the same image. And I wrote back and said, take a look at it. It's not the same image. Come on, snap out of it. That's pretty bad service if you can't even see that. So anyway, I'm not real happy with them at the moment. I have no images up right now. Because I don't trust them, frankly.
So what you're saying is the first Papa Pete with the shirt with the Atari joystick is now a collector's item.
It is now a collector's item, absolutely. And in the hour and a half that I had this one posted, somebody bought a shirt. So there's one of these out there somewhere too. I don't know who bought it, but it's kind of funny.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
So that's my friggin' TeePublic little saga, and I'm kind of miffed at them really, because I don't think it's very good. No,
it doesn't make sense. I mean, I think I had one design taken down. It was the Dreamcast one.
Yep.
But I was like, that's fine. I mean, I was using their logo, so
yeah.
What am I going to argue about?
And that was with the Atari joystick. I said the same thing. Well, what am I going to say? Nothing.
Well, that one's even weird. I don't know how they could get away with that, because it's one thing if they have like an exact drawing of something of their joysticks and those are trademarked, copyrighted. Then I could see, if you lifted that, but as far as I know, they don't have anything like that.
No, if you look into it, really, they don't have to prove anything. All they have to do is throw in a claim. You could throw in a claim against. The way it looks to me is that you could go on there and throw a claim in against any design, and it's taken down, case closed. And then the person has to go through the process of getting it back up if need be.
I had stuff on Zazzle, and I actually fought them on one design, and they ended up putting it back.
Well,
this was years and years ago. I was like, I can't believe it. I thought they would just forget about it. But I would send them another email. I would just keep sending them emails, bugging them.
Yeah. Hey, Retro Bros in. Hey, Ron. How you doing, man? June Bug. Yeah, so I don't know. I've sent them about 4 emails now to both the help and their legal department. And again, just there's no response whatsoever. Because this isn't like it's a technical issue, okay? Is it or is it not at a time? Like, you can argue all you want about the joystick, whether the Atari joystick, whether it should be considered trademark or not. But I'm not willing to argue it. I'll just take it down, right? But when I change it for this, that's any person could look at that and see that it's not an Atari joystick. I removed all that they could possibly be concerned with. But anyway, enough on that. I don't want to talk about TeePublic anymore. Our banner's not going to the bottom. I haven't got a shirt up there right now. I kind of enjoyed that too. Is the sad part about it. It left a bad taste in my mouth, and but up till that point, it was a pretty good experience having the shirts through them. I really liked it.
Well, hopefully they'll come to their senses here.
Well, sometimes you wonder if there's any sense left in the world. Really. But oh well. So how is your new? So you got to talk a little bit about wrestling. How's your new wrestling game?
Oh, I don't have it.
Oh, so all you got was the box. Show us the box.
The pre-order came with this box,
right?
Which is really cool because they're actually going to do a physical version at some point,
right? Which,
if I like the game a lot, I might get the physical version just to have it. But then it came with a manual. And this manual, the pages are really thick and glossy. Look at that.
Oh, wow. What's it showing?
They show the arenas and then the wrestlers. So it's pretty cool.
That is really neat.
And I guess everyone got probably random stickers.
Okay.
Because I got 2 random stickers.
Are they people like that? That's the Blue Meanie.
Yeah, these are actual wrestlers in the game.
Okay.
I gotta be honest, I'm not really familiar with these wrestlers other than Road Warriors.
Huh.
And then this, which is really cool, this poster.
You've just gone fuzzy again all of a sudden.
I did?
You were crystal clear, and it's just sort of like it's just pixelated a little bit, but that is really neat. Oh, that's the poster that shows like is that the Too Many Games benches?
This is the Too Many Games one, so it shows you all the YouTubers around the corner, around the sides there.
That's pretty cool. RGT's there, John Riggs, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And it even has a spot for the game if you ever pick one up, I guess.
If you do get one. Well, I saw that to go limited run, right?
No, this was straight through them, Retrosoft.
No, but I mean, if you do want to get a physical copy, isn't it going to be through limited run, or is it through them directly?
I think it might be limited run.
Okay.
It's one of those. I think it's one of those companies. I don't think Retro Studios is doing that, or Retrosoft.
Yeah, but you won't get all those perks that you just got.
Yeah, it was cool. Hopefully I like the game. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Right on.
From the people playing it on Steam. They're the only ones that have it right now.
Oh, okay, right. But okay, so you're expecting that probably within the week, right? Your code?
Well, I would think so, since they sent this out. I was just looking real quick to see. I saw yesterday they posted. Retrosoft. They do a blog like once a week, and it was supposed to be yesterday, but they pushed it back a day because they said they thought they were going to hear today something from the consoles. Oh, it says Xbox One release will be March 23rd. Switch release coming very shortly after. So hopefully this month.
That's good.
Well, hopefully by the end of the month.
A week from today for the Xbox One. Yeah. Right on. So
that's when you're eventually going to get, aren't you?
I want to get that one. Yeah, I really do. But I kind of like I like everything. I'd rather get the physical version. Like, did this come out physical right off the get go? The Streets of Rage 4, or was it just digital at first?
It could have been the same time, but it didn't ship the same time.
Okay.
Like I ordered it. It was right around the time it released, but I didn't get it until it was like probably a few months later.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And how long? It's been up for a long time. I can remember seeing a lot of YouTube videos about it and stuff, right?
It's probably been out. Has it been out a year now? It's been out a while. Am I still blurry? Because on my end, I'm not blurry at all.
Maybe it's my connection. I got a little wave coming up on my connection. I'm not on Wi-Fi or anything. I'm on hardwire, but that could be anything. Too much going on in the house. But I see I'm crystal clear too. You're a little bit blurry, but maybe the signal isn't going out that way.
Well, you look fine too.
Oh, right on.
We were on Chuck's show last night, and
yeah.
I mean, I didn't watch it afterwards. He didn't say anything about us being blurry, but I didn't notice anything going blurry.
You were crystal clear. Stuart went blurry a few times.
Yeah, he even got booted out.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know what was going on with that.
It's last week too on here.
I actually got an Ethernet cable that'll stretch all the way over to my computer.
Okay.
But then I found out. I'm just looking on YouTube. Yeah, I am a little blurry. Not as bad as when it was on my channel last time, but not great. I'm definitely clear looking on my end, which is this just started happening with StreamYard. I never once had that little connection in the top left show up. Wasn't until the last couple weeks.
Yeah, well, mine is showing right now just with 2 out of 3 bars, so a little weird that it just went away right now. It's interesting. Anyway, let's talk some sitcoms.
Let's see, how do you want to do this?
I don't know. I could throw one up. Do you have some pictures done, or what do you have done up?
Yeah, I have some pictures.
Right on.
All right. We'll go with 70s for now.
Sure. I went and I threw a whole bunch in and just went from the 70s to a kind of semi-chronological order as best as I could off the top of my head.
So did you yeah, that's what I have on here too. Did you watch All in the Family from the beginning?
I can remember watching it when I was a kid, but not that much, to be quite honest. You know, of all the shows on here, I've watched this here and there, but I can't tell you one season from another. Not very well, except for obvious things like when Joey's gone or something like the baby's there or something. And you could tell with Sally Struthers' curly hair, like this picture's a very early picture, right?
This would have been season 1, maybe season 2.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was such a groundbreaking show. The first season, I don't know if you've actually gone back and watched the first season. But when you think back at the time, it was like, holy smokes, I can't believe some of the stuff they're saying on the show. It was unbelievable.
What they got away with, well, racially and socially.
Well, I'll tell you what, it wouldn't happen today.
No, geez, no.
But it was an interesting show. I mean, it opened up a lot of things to talk about for sure.
Oh yeah.
A lot of social issues.
Would you consider it one of your favorites, though?
What's that?
Would you consider it one of your favorites?
I mean, I watched the whole series. It's not a series I would go back and watch, to be honest. I might watch, an episode here or there from the first season or so, because the first season was so different. It got a little watered down as time went by, and I find the first season fascinating, just the way some of the language they used and some of the stuff they talked about, because you didn't see it back then, and you certainly don't see it now. In fact, that was true with several shows in the 70s.
Yeah. It's strange, like the things that you would think we'd be becoming more progressive, and it's almost turning out to be the opposite. Or maybe it's just like the wave that's going downward now before it goes back up or something. But
for the kids that get angry about everything, they have no idea what was going on in the 70s on TV.
Yeah, really.
But this is a weird picture because Archie's wearing like a plaid shirt, but he only wore that white work shirt. That's all you ever saw, man.
That's right.
What a strange picture. This is definitely season 1 because her hair is so curly.
Yeah, and that may even be a pre. This picture may even be a promotional picture from before the series even come on the air. Maybe.
Yeah.
Could be. But one thing about it, and then of course that led to this one.
Yes. The Jeffersons were great on All in the Family. I loved when they introduced them. Yeah.
Now, I like this show better than All in the Family. Quite a bit better.
I would probably watch Jeffersons. If you gave me a choice of the two, I'd probably watch the Jeffersons first.
Yeah.
It was pretty darn funny.
This one I have watched the whole thing within the last year or so because they have a channel up here, like one of our national stations, like ABC, NBC, CBS, is CTV, Canadian Television, and we have CBC and CTV mainly, and then we have another one called Global. But anyway, CTV usually has the licenses for a large number of the shows, the American shows as well, and they have an app out now on the Apple TV and on everything else, And one of their things is CTV Throwback, and they have the licenses for tons of these older sitcoms, really good sitcoms. And that's where I've watched most of them. They have their commercials, like they'll have a commercial stuck in the middle somewhere that happens during a normal break, but it's like 30 seconds, they get right back into the show. So it's really, really well done. And they, for the most part, they are they're not the syndicated versions; they're the full versions.
Oh, so nothing's cut out.
Right, they're huge. The amount they cut out for syndication is really quite amazing.
I was watching Everybody Loves Raymond on Peacock Network, or Peacock Channel, or the app, whatever you want to call it. And I was like, I want to watch it here because this should be the full version, nothing cut. And one of the first ones I watched, I was like, well, wait a minute. What happened to this one scene? They completely cut it out.
There you go.
But at the same time, they had another scene that was in the Peacock version, which I never see in syndication. So it's kind of like they cut some out, but then it's like, why would they cut anything out? It's an app.
It can run they do for social reasons is a bit bizarre too. I don't know if that's Raymond, but
I know why they do syndication cuts, because they want to cram in more commercials.
Exactly.
But these aren't commercial based. I mean, they'll have a commercial or two here or there, but they're really short. And the length of the show doesn't matter. It's an app.
Yeah.
It's very odd. One of my favorite parts of the Jeffersons, this one episode, George was watching somebody's dog. I can't remember why he was watching somebody's dog, but he went to play ball and he threw the ball towards his balcony that's like behind them here. And the screen was open. The ball took one bounce and went over the balcony, and the dog ran and just jumped, went right over the balcony too.
I remember that one, yeah. I can't remember what happened, though. The dog didn't get killed, did it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was that, because they were way up high.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking something. It's like,
they were in the deluxe apartment in the sky, so it had to be a long fall.
Yeah, I thought maybe, I can't remember. So I thought maybe something weird happened and they survived it or something. I don't
know if they tried to get another dog to look like that dog or what.
Oh, my God.
I just thought that was kind of a funny.
You look at that picture right there, and I don't know if Berlinda Tolbert is still alive or not. I, for some reason, think she passed away too, but I think the only one that's alive is Marla Gibbs.
Oh, that's right. Oh, shoot, what's his name? Mike Evans. Lionel. Yeah,
Lionel.
He died too, didn't he?
He did. He died quite early. Of course, this is Mike Evans. Remember, there was Mike Evans and there was Damon Evans.
Yeah, he
for a few years in the middle.
Why did he leave? He left just for a few years and he came back.
He was a writer and he went away to do other things, and then he ended up coming back anyway. And Damon Evans, I think, had some demons. He was a musician, and it seems to me now both Damon Evans and Mike Evans are passed away. I'm not 100% sure on that. I really should look it up, I guess, but yeah, it seems to me they are. Did you know that Wheezy was like 20 some years older than George?
She was really old in these. I mean, you think, you look at here and what do you think she is? You know, in her 40s.
Yeah.
I mean, what they're supposed to be on the show, but she was probably like 60. I mean, it was crazy.
She was in her 60s, I think, in this, and Sherman Hemsley was in his 40s. You know.
Well, remember when they started All in the Family? I don't know if they wrote it that way or if they just changed it, but remember, George was a different guy. And then they later said that was his brother, I think, because George didn't come over he didn't want to meet them.
Okay, yes.
So I don't know.
They lied about it. Yeah, they said it wasn't. They said this was George, but it wasn't George. It was, yeah. I do.
Right, we found out several episodes later that this was actually George, but I don't know if something happened with that actor and they just got rid of him, and so they made that story up to replace him, or if that was a storyline from the very beginning. I don't know.
I don't know. You ever watch that one where is it The Wedding, where Archie and Edith go to the, maybe it's I don't know if it's The Wedding.
Yeah, it's Lionel's wedding, right?
Lionel's wedding, and oh my God, between George and Archie, the things they say in that show would not be on television today. I'll tell you that.
George had a great exchange with George. Archie had a great exchange with George's mom at that funeral.
Yeah. Mammy. That seems to be the. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I just thought it was funny because Archie, like, he was just kind of clueless in some ways. Like, he wasn't being mean spirited when he said what he said to her.
No,
that was just the way
it was. Archie, right?
Yeah,
Archie being Archie. Yeah.
So I always liked that he was always like taken aback when she got upset with that. It's like, well, what do you expect? But then that's just him being him. He
oh yeah,
didn't really know. He didn't really know any better.
Yeah.
So Bentley's dead and Ralph is dead too.
Yeah, Ralph. I saw Ralph not all that long ago that he passed away. Bentley's been dead for a long time. Paul Benedict. Do you remember he was the painter in Sesame Street?
He painted cookies.
Some nights he'd have I have the number 9, and he'd go and he'd paint the number 9 somewhere, and then some sort of strange thing would happen. And it usually was him. Stockard Channing was in a bunch of them too, who was in Grease as Rizzo. You watch a little clip of the painter in Sesame Street.
Oh, I remember it very clearly because I remember one episode he was, and I liked the way he painted. Like it was like a perfect circle, like another circle.
Yes. Yeah.
And well, I can't remember. Maybe it was just one that was a cookie. That's the one that stands out to me for some reason. Him painting on the cookie.
There probably was one that was a cookie for sure.
You want me to share a screen here?
Oh, sure. How do I?
Let me see if I can. You should be able to keep it. Down below here.
Yeah, I'm going to remove this one and add yours in. There it is. Oh yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Bob Newhart show.
Bob Newhart. And man, I've never seen two shows wrap up together better than this one and the second one, huh?
I know. Bob Newhart was so great.
Yeah. I mean, they're all gone but Bob now too, right?
And unfortunately, I don't think he has much time to go because last time I saw him on Big Bang Theory, he looked really old.
He looked frail.
And that was years ago. So
yeah.
I'm guessing he may not even do any kind of public stuff anymore. Oh,
I have Twitter. I have lots of autographs from him and stuff that he sent me because I really do. Bob Newhart is one of my favorites.
Yeah. He'd be right up there at the top of my list of somebody to meet. Who's still around. Hey, wait a minute. Before we go any further, we forgot. Did you ever watch Maude when it was on?
Well, let's put it this way.
Another spin-off of All in the Family. You got an autograph.
That was my next one right there.
Oh,
yeah, that was the next one in the stream after the Jeffersons. I was going through some of the All in the Family spin-offs because nothing had more spin-offs than All in the Family. That's a good picture right there, though. What was her name? The
which one? The daughter?
No, not the daughter, Carol. The maid. This maid. Do I think was after?
The maid? I don't even remember. I barely even remember her, to be honest.
It was something weird like Mrs. Ignaltuck or something like that. It was really strange.
At least you have Rue McClanahan. Was it McClanahan?
Rue McClanahan. Yeah.
Rue McClanahan. She went on to have her own big show. And then what's this guy's name? Something Conrad?
Conrad Bain.
Conrad Bain.
Yeah.
He was on Different Strokes.
Yeah. Bill Macy. Bill Macy just passed away about a year ago. He was like 97 or 98.
He was in The Jerk. Remember, he was the salesman.
Yes, absolutely. He wasn't too awfully young in The Jerk, and that was like 1980.
He's one of those guys. He always. I don't know if I've ever seen him look young.
That's about it. It's like Jack Albertson from. Here's one. I don't have any pictures or anything from it because I don't remember it all that well. But Chico and the Man.
I don't think I ever watched Chico and the Man.
There's only a season or two I can remember. Of course, my sisters and brother-in-laws were 18 and 16 years older than me. So when I was 7 or 8, I'll say, or maybe even less, more like 6 or 7, is when it was out. And I can just remember how much they liked the show. When I go there, they'd always watch Chico and the Man. And I believe it only lasted a season or so before Freddie Prinze died. So
yeah.
But that's
say 2 at most.
What's that?
2 seasons at most, you think?
At most, yeah, not very much. It might have been. It wasn't. I don't even know if it was 2 full seasons. I'm not sure on that again, but it's very, very small. It was really popular when it ended because they just basically they canceled it. So that Bill Macy there, I had autograph from him, and then that one.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Did Maude go blind in this episode?
I believe that's what happened. Yeah. Now that's a show, though. Have you watched it much?
Maude.
I
watched it all the time when it was on originally. I literally have not seen it since the 70s.
It's another one of these shows that's on this CTV throwback, and I have watched the first episode a couple times, trying to get. Sometimes it takes a while to get into it. I've never been able to kickstart myself into sort of binge watching it. You know what I mean?
It's one of those shows that I watched every week, but it wasn't one of my favorites. But back then we had 4 or 5 channels, so it's not like only 3 networks at night. So
yeah.
You watch shows you didn't really like that much because there's nothing else going on.
That's right. Yeah.
That explains why I watched The Love Boat and Fantasy Island.
That's another one. I used to think the Fantasy Island, Love Boat, those are great when I was a kid. And Fantasy Island is there, Love Boat is not, but Fantasy Island's there. And I tried to watch the pilot episode of that, and it was downright painful to try to watch.
Yeah.
Terrible, slow, boring. No, how it,
Very painful.
It did. Adrian Barbeau. Now what do I got next? Okay, so here's another all. Go through the all. I see your next one up there. I'll get to that, but then go through the All in the Family, spinoffs.
Boy, who was the spinoff on this one? I don't even remember.
This is Florida, which is Esther Roll.
Florida Evans,
right? Florida Evans was Maud's maid before Mrs. Igdaltuck.
Oh my gosh.
And she left, Florida Evans left Maud for her own show, Good Times. So this is a spinoff, like a second generation spinoff of All in the Family.
A spinoff of a spinoff.
It's a spinoff of a spinoff. Yeah.
Oh, man. Did you ever hear Jimmy Walker talk about
hey, man. Adrian Barbeau, hubba hubba. Yeah. I do agree with that. And then there's Maud. Yeah. The John Amos. Yeah, John Amos is a great actor. It seems to me he just passed away in the last year or two as well. He was a great actor in a lot of different things. He just was great.
I heard Jimmy Walker talk about the show and also John Amos. I think John Amos was actually kind of like just fired from the show, I believe.
Oh, really? He did disappear at the end of it.
It was some kind of weird thing. I can't remember if it was a contract thing and they're just like, well, they just moved on without him, basically. Wait, you said he appeared at the end. He was killed off, was he?
I don't know if he was killed off or he went away to work or something.
I thought he got killed in like a bus accident.
I'm going to say it again. This is it with these old sitcoms. This is all there too, so I can watch the whole freaking thing. Someday I'll sit down and watch it. Trouble is, I'm watching 3 different sitcoms right now. Depending on what room I am when I'm sitting around and which sitcom I'm watching and binging my way through. Jimmy
Walker said that him and John Amos did not get along whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he took acting seriously.
Yeah. I don't think John Amos cared much for. Well, I think part of it was, I think that happens sometimes in these shows where like Jimmy Walker ended up being the star of the show.
Right.
And I'm not sure if John Amos was that thrilled with that happening. Because I thought, if I remember, I think he just thought that the whole character was just kind of goofy, and I think it kind of rubbed him the wrong way.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's what it was. He had some other ideas for the show, and he was trying to get the writers to go with it, and they didn't want any part of it.
Now,
yeah, I watch this every week too.
Yeah.
This would be more like somewhere more with Maude, where I think it was more of like a second tier show for me. I'd rather watch, definitely Bob Newhart or Jefferson's.
No, right there. All these things sort of link together, right?
She sang the theme song, didn't she?
She sang the theme song for the Jeffersons. Exactly.
Did she sing
last year?
Did she sing the theme song for this show? I can't remember.
I'm not sure about this one. Maybe.
It seemed like they had a bunch of people singing in this.
Yeah.
This. Oh, by the way, you don't hear theme songs like these anymore. You know.
No.
They just sometimes don't even bother with a theme.
They just roll credits and have a little musical interlude as it goes. Big Bang Theory being the exception. I mean, that had a good theme song by the Bare Naked Ladies. That was.
That's one of the few more current shows that have done that.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know what I have next year. Okay, so a little bit later, but still another spinoff. Do you recognize that one?
I don't even know what this is.
It's kind of a crappy picture because it's got the Alamy things in it, but that's Archie Bunker. There's Archie right there.
Oh, wait. Is this Archie's place?
Archie Bunker's place, yep.
Okay. Is that wait a minute. Is that the daughter or like the girl that lived with him?
That is it would be his niece.
Is that the one that came to live with them?
They came to live with them, yeah. Now this is very, very late. Like they went 4 or 5 years or 6 years, maybe 5, I'm thinking. Anyway, she really grew up on the show. She went from 12 to 16, so she's probably more like 16 here. Because also at the end, they brought in Billy, which was another cousin. Okay?
I don't remember her at all.
And that's Denise Miller. And this guy, I can't remember his name for the life of me, but he was the voice of Michelangelo in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I believe.
Hey, Kevin.
John Amos is still with us at 81 years old. Thank you. That's good to know, Kevin. Right on. I'm glad that because
I always really liked him as an actor. I thought he was great.
Who, John? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
John Amos. I liked him in everything he did. He just
for sure
in the movies. Now that guy you just point out in the middle there,
right here.
Right, what else was he in? He was in some other show. He
was in tons of shows, and we're going to come to one in my list where these two play part in it again. It's sort of ironic because in this one they become a couple, and unfortunately the show got canceled or they decided to end it, whatever, sort of in the midst of a bit of a half breakup, half stepping into the next level, and that was just the end of the show. But anyway, we'll get back to that later on. I'll tell you when. Okay. You'll see them again in the list of pictures that I have. They pop up, but it's kind of amazing because I didn't know it until I started watching this show too. The only other ones from the original All in the Family, of course, Archie. She was in a little bit. Danielle Brisbois, which was, I can't even remember her name in the show.
Danielle Brisbois, that's right.
Yeah. Barney was always his best friend next door.
Yeah, Barney.
And this is, I can't remember his name either, but he was the bartender.
Yep.
And that's it. And Archie there in that show always. Thank you for pointing that out, though, Kevin. That's right on. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, I'm trying to I'll get to your. Okay, so this is a little bit older. It's not a spinoff, but I got it stuck in there anyway. You got to love that show. That's early 70s.
All-time classic.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. I've got a different picture of them. Hold on. Let me see. So you had a later one. This is like probably season 1. With Phyllis there.
Yes.
And Mary still had her hair long.
Yeah, I would say that's exactly right because there's no
just
angle.
Just look at that cast. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is something else. Ed Asner, I love him. And I tell you what I like about him most, of course, he's done all kinds of great things right up into he's got to be in his 90s now, or late 80s at the very least.
Yeah, he's still around.
He is. But I got that picture again right here because I sent him a bunch of pictures one time, and he sent them back all autographed.
I got to be honest. If I had to take a bet, I would have said he would have been the first one to go out of this group.
Yeah.
And he's the last one standing.
Yeah.
Oh, Betty White's still around, though.
Betty White, but isn't Gavin McLeod still alive, too?
Oh, yeah, he is. I think from season 1, I think he's the only one left besides Murray, Gavin McLeod.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I just had to go here anyway because I like Mary Tyler Moore, but for whatever reason, I always thought Mary Tyler Moore was like one of the best looking women in sitcoms. I don't know why, but she just always was. Was this the 50s or the 60s?
60s.
60s for Dick Van Dyke. I love that show. That was a great show. It was hilarious.
Yes, I have a whole bunch of shows from the 60s because I wasn't sure if we were doing. I forgot we were doing 70s and 80s, but yeah, I think she was she was definitely one of the best looking.
Oh yeah,
women sitcoms, sure. And I think she might be my all-time favorite comedic actress. She is just hilarious.
Yeah,
I mean, she's as good as anybody. She was so funny in Dick Van Dyke, and the same in her own show.
And that's another one that I probably could sit down and watch the whole thing, but I haven't got it. I don't have any seasons. I don't know if it's available anywhere. I really like to watch the Dick Van. I would the Dyke show too, but the Mary Tyler Moore show.
I've watched Dick Van Dyke show. I still watch every so often. It's
hey George here, right on. Yeah,
it's still really good. Some of the stories and the writing is as good as you'll ever get on Dick Van Dyke show.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it was Maury Amsterdam and Rose Marie, right?
Rose Marie.
And she was around forever. When she was in this show, she looked like she was 67, and she was probably 32.
She was around for. She was on Hollywood Squares for years and years.
Hollywood Squares all the time, eh? Her and George Gobel and Paul Lynde. Rose Marie. What was I going to say? Shoot.
I think this show, if I remember right, I think they said the ratings were so bad for the show the first season that they wanted to get rid of it, and there was somebody at the network that was on their side, and they kept it going.
Wow, that's surprising. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What's kind of neat is the very first episode of WandaVision is modeled after Dick Van Dyke. Huh?
Oh, really? Interesting.
We've talked about this before, but you didn't watch WandaVision, did you? The 9-episode show. It's all out now. It's all there.
No, I don't have, what do you call it? Disney Plus.
Okay, yeah. Well, if you ever get the opportunity, however, it is worth watching. And the first few are sort of modeled after sitcoms.
Really? Interesting.
Very distinct reason that sort of builds and becomes evident later on in the show. But it starts off, and it's very much modeled out. The very first episode is modeled after the Dick Van Dyke Show. Yeah.
If you think back in the 60s when this was on, like mid-60s, it was like kind of all by itself as far as, I think, quality. I mean, there was a lot of good shows in the 60s, but there were goofy stuff like, Munsters, Addams Family, Gilligan's Island.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I liked all those shows, but this one, the writing was so exceptional.
Oh, there's Georgia there. The house was even modeled after the Dick Van Dyke home. Yeah. I waited when the show first came on, and they never did do it, but I waited for them to come in the front door and for Vision to trip over the ottoman. It never did happen, but you always expected it at any time.
Remember in the later episodes, they had him just kind of scoot away from the ottoman and walk in?
I do. Yes, that's right. That's right. That was kind of ingenious to do that. Let's change it up a little bit, make people think.
And I love when Dick Van Dyke's brother came on. I think he was on, what, two episodes?
Jerry?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's another show that we could have put in this talk about, too, is Coach. I'm not a huge Coach fan.
I never watched it. I mean, I know it was on for years and years, and I like Jerry Van Dyke. I don't know why I never watched it.
I picked it up. I watched it a few times, and it was usually funny when I saw it. But it's another one of these shows that I couldn't tell you season 1 from season 6, right? I don't even know how long it was on. But it certainly was successful. Speaking of Jerry Van Dyke, I mean, he was good. It's a little bit better than My Mother the Car.
I've heard that was terrible. I've never seen it. I'd like to watch an episode just to.
That you watch any kind of top 10 worst sitcoms ever list, typically it's My Mother the Car that wins top spot. The worst ever.
You're Sanford, son.
Yeah.
One of the classic sitcom theme songs of all time.
Yeah, really. That and Andy Griffith, right? The whistling. And Barney Moore. There he is. Yep. Right on.
Boy, I love the early days when Gomer was on there still.
So I don't know if Stu's ever going to get a chance to have one or not, but I'm having an El Generico for Stu. I'm just going to go big here for a second. Let's see. So for anybody who doesn't know, Stu really wants to try this beer terribly. So in the meantime, with all the COVID and stuff, we can't even travel, and we're about 24-hour drive apart. But I went and got him one the other day, and that is full right there. And that beer will sit right there till we can visit Stu, or Stu can get up or whatever, and then he can drink that El Generico right there. That'll sit there, for a while anyway, till we get the opportunity. So. There you go.
What a great shot. I love this. Way up high like that.
Yeah. You back it up a little bit. Let's go back just a hair, because I got to sort of chronologize. I saw you had this one up a little while ago too.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Is that the shot that you had?
Yeah, it's the same shot with no autograph though.
Internet thing on it. I get into autographs for a while. There's some of them a lot of them. I'd love these old shows, and I'd send autographs out.
Happy Days is a weird show for me because I watched, I think all of it. Maybe I bailed in the last season. I can't remember. I do remember Fonzie becoming a teacher, and I couldn't take it anymore. I don't think I finished it off.
Yeah, I understand that.
But that first season is so different than the rest. It is unbelievably good.
Agreed.
It's so well done.
Yeah.
And I think for me, Happy Days got worse every year it was on.
Agreed.
I mean, it took a few years before I thought it was not good anymore. Yeah. I mean, it took several years.
The shark, that's where it came from, right?
Yeah, literally. Remember, there's so many moments that this show jumped the shark. Like, just goofy stuff. Like, I remember Fonzie was dating like a rich girl or something, and he double dated with Richie and his girlfriend. They went to some fancy restaurant, and there was a guy. Why was there a guy there? Maybe he was double dating with a friend of hers and someone else. I don't know, but I don't know. The guy put Fonzie on the spot when the waiter asked what kind of wine would he like for the table, based on all the food they have. There was this big moment, and Fonzie picked one out, and he goes, "Oh, excellent choice, sir." And the crowd's cheering. I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
Fonzie picked the right wine. I'm so proud of you, Fonzie.
I don't know if I have one more of these or not. No, but it goes right into that. Did you have another Happy Days picture?
No, I had the same one. I do have. What is my? It's my Laverne and Shirley. Let's see. No, I just have Laverne and Shirley. But do you think Happy Days? I know we're talking about All in the Family, but Happy Days also had a ton of spinoffs because they had Laverne.
Go ahead.
Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah.
Joni Loves Chachi.
Yep.
There was some other show that only lasted like a few episodes, wasn't it?
Was that Mr. T and Tina or something like that? There's some weird show like that. Mr. T and Tina.
Oh, no. That was when Arnold quit. Pat Morita. He quit, and that was his show. I think that flopped right away. But Mork and Mindy also came out of Happy Days.
Yes. I have nothing in here from Mork and Mindy in our pictures.
And I thought there was another one too. It was crazy how many things came out of that. Other than Mork and Mindy was a spinoff.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I had Mork and Mindy in the wrong folder. Well, I had it in the 80s folder, but I think Mork and Mindy started in the 70s and ended in the 80s.
Yeah, I think it did.
Now, if I had to guess, I would say this show probably has not aged well.
No. I have seen it somewhere recently within the last year or two, but I can't remember where. Other than going out and buying the DVDs, I don't know where it's streaming.
Well, this is another one of those shows I just never see anymore. I never see it streaming. I mean, as a kid, I loved the first season. And then the second season started. I think the opening show, it opened up with them like in a King Arthur type atmosphere. There was a castle or something. It was just something weird. And as a kid, I was just like, what is this? I was like, I don't want to see this. I just want to see Mork and Mindy.
Mork and Mindy was a spinoff of a spinoff.
What? It came straight from Happy Days.
I thought it came straight from Happy Days too. I was thinking Mork sort of landed or whatever, got mixed up with Fonz and Richie, didn't he?
Yeah, and I think Laverne and Shirley may have been involved as well in that episode.
Oh, okay.
What a strange episode. An alien comes down.
Yeah. Well, as part of they went so off the wall from the first, like you said, the first season was so good because it was very American Graffiti.
Oh, everything about it was different than later. It was shot different. The whole tone of the show was different.
Whatever happened to Richie's older brother?
Exactly. He was in what, 2 seasons? Didn't he make it into the second, or was he gone after the first?
I'm not sure. I didn't even know if he made it through a whole season. It's just strange. They just drop him.
I know, it's just bizarre.
All right, I'm going to jump in because it's got to happen. I mean, this might be a little bit out of kilter with timing, but here we go.
Oh, there we go. I have this as the 80s show, although it was pretty evenly spread, I think, between 70s and 80s.
Yeah, I just sort of stuck into that in that area. Man, it doesn't get better than that. Well,
It's just a classic. Yeah, where's mine? There we go.
the whole reason we're doing this show, celebrating Jeff receiving his WKRP in Cincinnati box set.
I haven't even opened it yet. I got to bust this out pretty soon.
Yeah, we our plan is we are going to binge. This is Chris and I both because she loves this show too. So we're gonna watch the whole thing when we get a moment. I don't know when do you ever have a moment? You just gotta sort of jump in and do it, right?
I thought this was another show that for its time, it just seemed different than the rest of the shows that were on.
Agreed.
I don't know. It had kind of a real feeling about it. I mean, never worked at a radio station, but just watching it, it just seemed kind of real, even though as strange as some of these characters were.
Yeah. Viking stew. Oh, Viking. Did you just come on here? You missed my story. I got to tell you again real quick. The light's bad when I do that. I'm having one of these again right now. But just so you know, until the opportunity comes that you can get up for a visit or I can get down for a visit or whatever, your can... I'm going to go big again here. Your can of that beer will be sitting right there. So that'll be waiting for you. We got you one.
He's on his way there right now.
Now I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I do this again? There we go. Okay, we're back.
You know, it's amazing that how their Thanksgiving Day special is still talked about every year, and it's been what are we talking 40 years now?
Yes, exactly.
Because this was on from like 78 to 82. God, 40 years.
Oh, well, over 30, 33. It's probably one of the most quotable sitcoms ever in existence.
There's so many great things about that show.
Yeah, I think I got one more here. That's just a classic picture there, too. I love that picture.
Oh, this is the one I think they used to show during commercial breaks.
Yep.
I'm not sure why they showed it during commercial breaks, but I do remember seeing that quite often.
Yep.
Johnny's between Jennifer and Bailey. Look how bored he looks.
Yeah, really. Yeah. But they went top. They never changed a person, did they, in that show? Nobody left. Nobody come in.
Hey, you're right.
It was those, 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, those 8 people, the whole show. Yeah, very rarely does that happen. Even a show as short as 4 seasons.
I loved how Jennifer was the highest paid employee at WKRP.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Remember when Andy found out, he goes, "Good Lord."
I don't know what's coming up next year.
I think she had no, this show had a lot of changes.
Yeah.
The Flo one, that third, or that her spot kept changing, didn't it?
Yep, it did.
Did it change twice? Or
twice I can remember it went to Jolene, and then it was Diane Ladd's character. Well, I don't know what her name was off top, but Diane Ladd, who you see, it was let's see, Clark Griswold's mother in Christmas Vacation, but in several movies. She was she always played like an older person than she actually was. Frasier kept the same cast whole season. Yes, it did. Yeah, I watched that one recently too, all 11 seasons, and it was fabulous.
That's amazing, 11 seasons.
Yeah.
And not changing the cast around.
No, I try to think. They didn't lose anybody, did they? Nobody. None of the main 5.
This is a reminder.
Didn't Diane Ladd, wasn't she in the original Alice movie? Wasn't she a waitress in there?
See, I've never seen the original Alice movie. I don't know anything about it.
That just sounds familiar to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cheers changed quite a bit.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, Cheers certainly didn't. Yeah.
Here's a show, Pete. I don't know if you've ever watched it, but I gotta say, I cracked up over it when I was a kid.
What's happening?
What's happening?
Oh yeah.
Dwayne, Cheryl, Rerun, D, Mama, and Raj.
What was the premise?
I think it was just about the three boys, basically, just goofing off. They'd hang down at that diner where Shirley worked.
Okay, yeah.
And then they'd go home, and Dee would razz Raj about something, and she'd say she was going to tell on him to Mama. There really wasn't much of a, I guess really wasn't anything. It was just the three boys hanging out for the most part.
That's pretty cool.
Now, did you ever watch Cotter?
I did not watch. Well, no, I did. I did back at the time. Of course, everybody. Okay, I'm trying to think. I can remember John Travolta was friggin' huge, right?
As soon as the show hit, he became big, and then he did
absolutely
the movie and became even bigger.
Yep. Between Grease and Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised he stayed on as long as he did.
Yeah, but and it's surprisingly a short run show too, isn't it? It's only like 4 years.
And I mean, there's another show where it's best if you only watch like the first couple seasons.
Yeah, it gets pretty thin.
Once Bo takes over for Travolta, it's terrible. The southern guy taking over. It's like,
oh yeah, yeah.
It's a New York public school. What's he doing there?
Really?
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I remember this show just took off the first season.
Yeah.
Remember, I had an Arnold Horseshack sweatshirt. Now, I just saw a thing on. Oh, we mentioned Bob Newhart a little bit ago. He'll be mentioned again, though. Don't worry.
He mentioned, but we will have more, I'm sure.
I saw a thing on this about some of their careers afterwards, and Freddie Washington is still acting to this day. Well, I don't know how long ago that documentary was. Hopefully, he's still alive, but he's had some pretty good roles. I didn't really recognize him in the show, to be honest. Although when you see him, it does look like him.
Who is it? Who are you saying now?
Freddie Washington.
Oh yes. Okay.
I can't remember his actual name.
See you, George. See you in a bit. I can remember the show. There's a channel on there on YouTube called "Do You Remember?" and they do a lot of clips about where are they now from old sitcoms, old TV shows. And I just recently watched one on Welcome Back, Kotter. They talked about him. Freddie Boom Boom Washington. I can't remember his name. Lawrence Hilton Jacobs.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Something like that. Yeah. Robert Hayes. He's not with us. Ron Palillo.
He's gone.
He's gone. Yeah. But Gabe Kaplan's still playing poker.
Yep.
Professional poker player.
I always liked Gabe Kaplan.
Oh, yeah.
He seems like a decent guy. Here's a show I completely forgot about until I was looking up today.
Oh, my God.
Couple.
That is a great show. Fantastic show.
And I used to watch this every week, and I completely forgot about it.
It used to be on here in syndication, of course. Later years. Oh, excuse me.
Tony Randall was so good in the show.
Yep. And they had a remake of that not long ago, and it starred Chandler Bing, Matthew, what's his name?
Perry.
Matthew Perry, and I can't remember the other guy. I recognize him, and it was the same type of. And I watched that, and I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it made it through a whole season. If it did, not much more than that, but it was actually quite well done.
I didn't see it. Did you? There was another remake of this show, maybe in the 80s. It starred Barry.
Barry made an early visit today. He was in the.
That's right. Oh, where she went. But there was another remake, and Ron Glass from Barney Miller was in it. He played Felix, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I always try to venture back into these things. I'm telling you.
Remember, Penny Marshall was in this show.
Yeah, because it was a Gary Marshall show.
Yeah, I think that was her first role, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. All of a sudden, I'm hearing myself twice.
Uh-oh. Now here's a classic.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I got some of them coming up. I'm probably a little out of order, but I've got some of those as well.
I remember a few kids at school whose parents would not allow them to watch this show. Because at the time, I guess it was pretty controversial. A guy with two women.
It was racy. There you go. Penny Marshall's on the first episode of Bob Newhart.
Oh, that's right.
I'm going to slide out of that one because I'm going to get to that in just 1 second really quick and go back. This is one you showed earlier. I said, hold on a few minutes. I got a couple leads for it. But I love this show too.
I watched this through the whole run. I didn't like the last few seasons. It was, what's weird is the first season, there were so many characters and it was really fast paced. Next time you're watching the first season, it's really quick. It's fast. And you get to the last few seasons, I mean, the actors are all just kind of, I don't know if just because they're older, but it just slowed down to a real grind at the end.
Absolutely. Here's towards the end here.
Well, remember at the very end, they had that new detective who took Nick Yamana's desk. He had like white, fuzzy hair. I can't remember his name. He was only on, I think, the final season. He was terrible.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, I did. I just watched this whole thing within last summer as well. I watched it from start to finish. One thing I didn't realize, though, was Linda Lavin with Alice had a role in this as the female detective for probably 6 episodes, and she was a love interest for Wojciechowicz. And then she left Barney Miller to get her full role in Alice.
You mentioned this a few weeks ago. I can't remember what show, and if I hit me, I was like, oh my gosh, she was really good on that show.
Exceptional. Yeah, it was really interesting.
I think that was like their first big loss. Then they lost Chano.
Yeah.
That hurt. I don't know why he left. Did he leave or was he?
He left, and there was no real great reason for it. He just sort of left. He didn't get fired. He just was done and moved on.
I liked him so much.
He just passed away the last little while too. Like I'm talking the last 6 months. Yeah, man. Well, I think we talked about it on the show one night, on one of the shows.
There's Stuart mentioned Mushi Mushi. You remember that episode?
I don't.
I think what was it Wojo who brought in a bunch of brownies?
Oh my God, yes.
And it had marijuana in it, and Nick would go. He went up to Barney. Hey, Barn, Mushi Mushi.
Jack Sue was my favorite. Like he was fantastic.
Oh, he was so good.
He worked through. He worked basically until he couldn't work anymore on this show. He died of cancer, right?
Yeah.
In mid-season, but they did a really good job of having the show, the tribute show, where they all got together and they did a tribute show just to him. And not very often do you see that done as well as what they did it.
I don't even remember that. I got to try to find that.
Yeah, it is. Again, this is another one that I can watch the whole thing on that CTV throwback. So that's why I've recently watched it. And I really liked, I'm going to back it up one. I really liked Fish too. I liked his character. I liked what he brought to the show, his sarcasm. And it's really kind of unfortunate that he ended up leaving for his own show, which is right here.
Well,
and because it lasted 2 years, and I've watched all of that because after I watched Barney Miller, I went and watched this, which is also there. And
wasn't he scheduled? I mean, wasn't he supposed to be written off the show? Because even in the first season, I think they talked about him retiring soon.
It was sort of the running gag, right?
Gag. I don't know if it was just a joke or if he was meant to leave at some point if the show went long enough.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, he looks like he's way past retirement even in season 1.
You're right there, yeah, for sure. So remember I talked earlier, I said I'd get back to it. about the guy. I can't remember his name for the life of me. Oh, I should look it up right now.
There he is on Fish.
There he is right there.
That's
but
where I knew him from.
Even more interesting is Denise Miller, who is his love interest in Archie Bunker's place. She's like 15 here, and he is like one of the guidance social workers that works in the house.
One of my favorite Barney Miller episodes was, I can't remember if Dietrich's first episode was one of his first episodes. I won't go through the whole thing, but next time anyone's watching, if you see an episode where Dietrich goes to Fish's home to talk to his mom, it's one of the funniest episodes. That scene of him at their home, I was looking that up on YouTube just so I could watch that scene.
That's good.
It was so funny.
I know what I mean. And it seems to me Dietrich goes on the show and as a guest spot and does that Fish's home episode, and then he's gone for 6 months or a year before he ever appears again. And they brought him back.
He was in training, wasn't he? Wasn't that the whole thing? He was like training with Fish for a while.
Maybe that was it. I don't know.
Because Fish couldn't stand him. Because this is the guy basically taking his job, so he hated Dietrich.
This show was good. It's too bad that it didn't do what it did. Here's another one. Can you see do you know who that is right there?
No.
That is Todd Bridges.
Oh, is it? He was on Barney Miller too. He had one appearance on there.
These two were on Barney Miller a couple times, setting up this show with Fish as juvenile delinquents, and he might have been there as well, and sort of the same thing. But these three right here, if it was him too, which I don't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, you're probably right there. He was on there as well. These two did at least 3 episodes, where they ended up getting tied in with Fish, which is how they set up the premise for Fish and Bernice taking over the group home. So.
Yeah, because Todd Bridges, he got arrested. I mean, I think they were just trying to scare him because he was a little kid. I mean, yes. He was obviously younger than he is here, and look how little he is there. I mean, He looked like he was maybe 7 or 8, and he was really young.
Yeah.
And he went up to, what was Ron Glass's character name? I think it was also Ron. Wasn't Ron, but what? Oh, Harris.
Harris, yeah.
Yeah. So Todd Bridges, as a little kid, he went to Harris, asked him if he'd help him out since they're both black. And Harris said, "Hey, I can't do that." And he just started crying. Todd Bridges started crying, goes, "Man, you ain't no brother." He was really upset with him. It was a great line. I think they just brought him in to throw a little scare into him. He was really good in that episode, though.
He was a good actor at that time. Oh, and how do we miss this? Like, because this is older than almost anything else on there except for All in the Family. Now, these are not real autographs, okay? These are not real autographs. But
those are not real autographs?
Those are not real autographs. That's printed. I have a lot of autographs of these guys, but this particular picture is not a real autograph.
They're in different colors, too, black and purple.
Yeah. But, I mean, I've watched this show. This is not real either. I've watched this show. There's not a show that I've watched more than MASH. No ifs, ands, buts about it.
Hey, the picture I have is from the same shot, or shoot, but it's slightly different.
No.
It's just a little bit different. But the first 2 seasons of MASH are so good. Those are my absolute favorites, those first 2 I love Trapper John and Henry Blake.
I've got autographs. I do have real autographs from everybody here except David Ogden Stiers.
Is he still alive?
He is not. He passed away at 70 about 2 years ago, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. Not very long ago. And he passed away anyway. And I have them all here except for Larry Linville and McLean Stevenson. And of all people, Gary Berghoff is very difficult to get his autograph.
I heard, and I have no idea if this is true or not, but I heard way back then when he quit the show that I heard people say that he was kind of a jackass in real life. And I was like, is he? I don't know.
That's the impression I get, yeah.
I wonder what the deal is. You think, I mean, this is all he has, really, isn't it, MASH?
Yeah. He used to see him on, like, I can remember seeing him on, like, Carol Burnett and Match Game and stuff like that. He'd sing and stuff on Carol Burnett. And it's like, whatever, you know, but no, this was about it. I never really understood it, but he's an artistic type, and he does art, and you know, he's off.
I never quite understand actors who are in a huge hit show and then want to shy away from it.
Yeah,
it's like, why? It's a great thing you're in. Why would you want to ignore that?
Yeah, understood. Oh, there's yours right there. Oh, you were saying there's my clip.
See how close it is?
That is a different clip from the same. A different shot from the same. Yeah, shoot.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, that's neat. This one is a little bit different again. Stuff like that. Oh my God. This is, like I say, it come on Disney Plus. The Disney Plus just had that star that was released with it, and it's out with it now. And MJ comes up to me and goes, "Hey, Dad, MASH is now on Disney." So for whatever reason, even though I've watched all the DVDs, it used to be on a streaming thing up here that we had. I can't remember the name of it. That's obsolete now. I watched the entire series on that. I've watched it all on DVD again recently, but I watched it all on. I've been recording it off a Spanish channel up here because I have it, and I watched it all there. I can literally watch MASH, probably, you know, especially when I'm doing something like editing or working on something. I'll watch it for easily.
It's on Disney Plus now.
It's on Disney Plus now. There's a lot. They just brought a lot onto Disney Plus just recently.
What was MASH on originally? Was it CBS or ABC?
It was CBS. Yes.
Yeah, I don't get with like that Peacock network app. They have Everybody Loves Raymond and King of Queens, and those were NBC, I believe, weren't they? No, those were CBS shows.
Those are CBS shows, I thought. Yeah.
But Peacock would be NBC stuff.
But maybe they bought the syndication rights.
I guess but they're still being shown on TV Land as well.
Oh, I hit the wrong button here. Okay, so let's go back to this one. I did not put anything down. That is an amazing show right there.
I think this is probably our last one that at least started in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because the cast changed quite a bit. I saw one picture, it had the original cast where it had a whole nother driver who was only in the first season, I think. I think his name may have been Jeff. I can't remember. Jeff Conway was also in the first several seasons. I don't know why he wasn't on the later ones.
He was in all of them, wasn't he? I thought Jeff Conway was in the whole thing.
I thought he left towards the end.
Okay.
At least I found some cast pictures where he was not in it, like this one.
Yep.
This is probably a later season because you have Latka's wife. Wait, where's Latka in this? He's not even in this picture.
No.
Didn't Andy Kaufman make it through all the seasons of this?
I'm not sure of that. I really don't know. This is another one that I've watched it tons over the years, but I have no real coherent. Like I can watch an episode of MASH and say that's season such and such. That's but not this show.
I love towards the end when Latka was having these psychological problems and he started impersonating people. And my favorite was when he came into the garage as Alex Rieger.
I don't remember that at all.
There was a few episodes I think where he came in as Alex, and he had this sweater on that Alex would wear, and he would talk to people about their problems just like Alex would. It was such a great idea. One actor impersonating another on the show.
Only Andy Kaufman, right?
I saw a story where he was going to play Louis' brother, but in a different character. I think maybe it was Johnny Clifton. I had so many characters. I think it was maybe Johnny Clifton. I could be wrong, but he wanted to play Louis' brother as Johnny Clifton playing Louis' brother. So like he removed himself from the equation altogether. And so when he would come to do rehearsals, he would come in character as that guy.
Yeah.
And they said at
Tony Clifton.
And they said at the end, he was just acting so strangely. I mean, he wouldn't show up on time. He'd be late. They said one time he showed up with 2 hookers, and they had gifts for all the cast members, and they were passing them out. And some of the, I think Judd Hirsch, I think he was kind of getting pissed off because Andy Kaufman was kind of making a joke out of some of this stuff. But he was like doing his own show during rehearsals. It was such a strange idea. He went to play a role on Taxi against Tony Clifton, and the actors couldn't take it. And they said, you got to fire Andy from, not from the show, but from this part.
Yeah.
And when they said something, when the producer said something to Andy Kaufman, he said, "It's fine, but you have to fire me as Tony Clifton." So he insisted on Tony Clifton being fired.
Did you ever watch Man on the Moon?
I've never seen the movie.
It is worth watching. If you get a kick out of the Andy Kaufman stuff like that, because it's just bizarre, you'd like that movie. Absolutely.
I just love it. He's so strange. I'm not sure if there's been anyone like him.
No.
I mean, even his own castmates didn't understand. The guys he worked with every day, they didn't even understand what he was doing. They were as confused as everyone else.
That's right. Do you want to go on to? We've been talking about this one.
Yeah. Oh. Hey, that's a season 1 right there.
That is season 1. Yeah, this is what baffled me. That this is the only DVD you could ever find. I can remember when it came out. No other ones ever came out. And then I got looking a few months ago, and they are all out. You can get the other seasons as well, but I don't have them.
Now, Kirk, I know the girl they had cleaning the place, the housekeeper. She left after season 1, I believe.
She did, Leslie. Yeah.
Did Kirk lasted more than 1 season? No, didn't he? Didn't he go 2 seasons?
I think Kirk just lasted 2, and then he got married and moved away kind of moved away. He got married at the end of the season 2, and they basically canned him because they just didn't know where they're going to go with that character.
Yeah, did they fire her too after season 1?
Who's that? Her? Yeah, I think pretty much because there was just nothing much there, right?
And they just brought in Julia Duffy.
Julia Duffy had made an appearance as her cousin.
Yeah,
one time, and then they brought her back, and then Michael Harris came in after the fact. Now, nobody was more annoying than Michael Harris and Stephanie Vanderkellen. Yeah. But I watched some different shows on this, and they talked about how the writers just couldn't do anything with these other characters because they were so one-dimensional. Like, you couldn't all of a sudden turn Kirk into a likable person because he was such a
he was a habitual liar, and he was a jerk. And the original housekeeper, Stephanie's cousin, she was just plain and boring. Like, there was nothing to do with her at all.
No. So this is why they did it. And yes, those other, but at the end of the day, they made for good episodes because there was always something strange to write about with them. Hey, Rab's here. How you doing, man?
Pete, I'll be back in like 30 seconds. Hold on.
Right on. my kids are putting themselves to bed on Tuesday from now on. If it was only that easy, eventually they do get to put themselves to bed on their own, but you got to double check on them because they don't go to bed. And then as they get older and older and out of your house, you kind of wish they were back and you had to put them to bed. So it's a catch-22. It never gets good. Yeah. So Newhart, and of course, everybody's favorite, which these guys weren't even supposed to be in the show, like more than anything for $1. But oh my God, they were awesome. They ended up being the most important part of the show, frankly. I mean, everybody remembers Larry, Daryl, and Daryl from Newhart. They don't necessarily remember Stephanie and Michael or really anybody else. But between Larry, Daryl, and Daryl and the friggin' the season or series finale, which is to my mind just still one of the best series finales you've ever ever seen. Yeah, I was just saying, Larry, Daryl, and Daryl are the most well-known characters from that show by far. And other than the phenomenal series finale, they're what's remembered most about that show in my mind.
Greatest sitcom finale I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously about Newhart is it did change a lot. Like the characters, they had so many characters in the show that started showing up. Like even Larry, Daryl, and Daryl, they were on season 1, like episode 2 or 3.
Yes.
They were on really early, but then they were gone, I think, for a while.
Yeah.
And even guys like, was it Pete and Chester, the two guys? The two old guys are always hanging around.
I don't think it was Pete. It was Chester, and Chester was the mayor. Chester Wanamaker. Chester Wanamaker talk like this there from down there, the New England accent there. And he was the mailman and on Golden Pond and talked with the exact same accent there.
But those guys were on early on, but they became a bigger part of the show in later seasons. And then they added like someone like, was it Officer Shiftless and that one heavyset woman?
Which is Laura Linney, who then went on to fame in the Drew Carey show.
Yes.
She was the what's the word looking for? Nymphomaniac librarian. Right? Nymphomaniac librarian in Newhart. But that's another one which actually I didn't have. I ended up watching the whole series on YouTube. And again, about 6 months ago, I finished. And I loved it. But my word, doesn't it get pretty bizarre as it gets towards the end until it builds up to that final series show. It's something else to see, especially when you watch it all at once like that.
When I watched this, originally it was on the 80s.
Exactly.
My thought that this was a modern day Green Acres, where you basically had one person who was sane and everyone else around him was crazy. Although in this case, his wife Joanna was not crazy, but it's the same thing. They're the normal people and everyone else is just nuts.
But she had her moments too.
Yeah.
He something would happen. He'd have the most normal, rational solution to the whole situation, and everybody would treat him like he was an absolute nut for thinking that way.
That's what I love about Green Acres. That's what I love about this show. Oliver Wendell Douglas, he was looked on as the weirdo, when in reality he was probably the most normal. But it depends on who you're hanging out with, who's normal and who's the weirdo.
Stu, I'm sorry, but this is coming from the same person who doesn't like Rise of Skywalker.
It
doesn't surprise me.
Newhart's one of my favorite shows ever. I mean,
yeah.
How could Bob Newhart make a bad show?
No, he can't. Hey, there's CM Retro. How you doing, buddy? Just talking some old sitcoms. We worked our way up to Larry, Daryl, and Daryl here. Oh my God, yeah, Mimi. That was a switch. Yeah, Mimi from that's another show. The Drew Carey show was that was 90s though, but still, it's just we've talked about that some other time before. How that just sort of seemed to fade away, and all of a sudden it was over. There was never any conclusion or.
I've never even seen that show.
No, it was when it first. Come on, very first one, it was pretty damn good.
Yeah. I've got one.
Oh, yeah.
Pete, I don't know if many people know this show.
You got it?
Not that it's a great show, but I liked it. It was entertaining.
Oh my God. Yeah, I didn't think of that one at all either. Too Close for Comfort.
But the interaction between what's his name?
Ted Knight
and Jim J. Bullock on that show was just hilarious. Those two together.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%.
I always liked it that he was a cartoonist because I did a lot of cartooning at that same time when the show was on.
Okay.
I always thought that was cool.
Cosmic Cow, right?
Yep, Cosmic Cow.
Yeah, wow.
I completely forgot about it. I was just looking through shows and all of a sudden it popped up. And I was like, oh, yeah, I used to watch that every week. And look who the mom was from the Honeymooners.
Audrey Meadows?
Yes. Isn't that crazy?
My cat just got up out of the basket.
I heard that Audrey Meadows, when she was on the Honeymooners, had a deal in her contract about residuals. This was before residuals existed.
Right.
And from what I heard, she ended up making a lot of money from that because her lawyers, the story I think maybe her lawyer was her brother. And I don't know how they even thought of this far ahead, but apparently she made quite a bit of money off that Honeymooner show. But no one else did, of course, because there was no such thing as reruns back then.
I suppose. That's weird. That was pretty much Ted Knight's last work, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think this is several years after Caddyshack, I believe.
Yeah.
And Caddyshack was like 80. This was probably 83, 84, somewhere around there. Yeah, I don't think I saw him in anything after this.
So you started down this path. I said hold off for a few minutes because we're there now. I love how Mr. Roper is a central figure in this picture.
Look how happy he is. I don't even think that's like an acting smile. I think he's just happy right there.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. My God.
It's gotta be cool because he's a character actor. I mean, I don't think he had anything steady ever. That had to be great for him.
Yeah.
End of his career, and all of a sudden now he's on a hit show. That would be awesome. And people loved him on that show too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you've told the story. You've told the story. I've word to say it. I won't forget it now. About he got screwed over from this show.
I know they wanted to do the spin-off, and he was smart enough. He was like, I don't want to do it. He was like, I got a good thing right here.
Yeah.
They promised if Roper's doesn't get picked up, if it gets canceled, you can come right back. It gets canceled and it goes back to him. They said, I don't know what you're talking about.
Wow.
We got Don Knotts now.
Yeah. Speaking of which, there is the next wave. All new people except for Jack Tripper and it's a new Janet Wood.
Oh, wait a minute. There's I forgot her name on there. This is weird. How come there's three of the women here on this picture?
Well, it's got Jenny Lee Harrison stuck in there too, right? Where she sort of made the appearances. What was her name? Cindy Snow.
She replaced Suzanne Summers, and then Terry, I can't remember her name, Priscilla Barnes. Replaced Cindy Snow, right?
Yes, but Cindy still appeared for a while after Priscilla Barnes came in. Like she just moved out. She moved out, and then she moved out, and Priscilla Barnes moved in as the nurse. Remember that episode where she moved in? She's the one who got mad at, gave Jack the shot or something like that, and then was the one who was moving in. And it was, one of those episodes of where there was a misunderstanding and people reacted in a poor way.
A misunderstanding on Three's Company? That was pretty much their plot every week, wasn't it?
Rob, check out that show. I'm sorry, I missed your comment, but check out Too Close for Comfort. You get a chance. It is worth watching a little bit. Ted Knight's great, eh? I love Ted Knight.
Yeah, Ted Knight's really good in it, and that alone is worth watching.
Whatever his name is in Caddyshack, he's kind of similar type character, only not quite as cartoonish of an ass.
Yeah, he'd still get that hot head, especially around Monroe.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Monroe.
Yeah, and yes, that's what we're going with Norman Fell. He didn't want to leave, but they made him. Terry, we're missing Lance, so we got to be asking what Terry versus Cindy.
Hey, where is Lance?
He was on earlier. He was watching. I was talking to him, and he said, "Have a good thing tonight." So I assumed he wasn't coming. Wasn't going to be around tonight. What do you want to be when you grow up, little Rob? Jack Tripper. Oh my God, that's hilarious. That is hilarious, Rob. Right on.
How long Three's Company was on the air?
7 years, 6 years, 8 years.
I bet you it's 7 or 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a show. I mean, I wouldn't consider this one of my favorite shows, but I did watch it every stinking week.
Yeah. What was I just thinking? Well, it ended up they went to Three's a Crowd. Remember when Jack went off and built?
Oh, he got married, didn't he?
Yeah, the father-in-law lived with them, and that was a Three's a Crowd. I actually did that. It was funny. In 1980. Okay, what year is it? 1988. I moved in with 2 girls in university. It was all right. It wasn't quite the same, but I tried the Three's Company thing anyway for a while. Wasn't quite the same, but hey, it was all right.
Papa Pete's Company.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what's weird about the show is I don't remember liking it, but I did watch it quite a bit, which is an odd thing. But again, I think we're still down to, I think this was before cable.
Yeah.
So I didn't have anything else to watch.
Couple things about this one. There's Conrad Bain again, who was in Maude, right? Todd Bridges, who was in Fish, which I didn't realize, and Barney Miller.
Yep.
Charlotte Rae, right? It's shocking how little she was actually in this show before they spun her off. And I'll tell you why, is because I'm in the middle of trying to watch this one too. And I think I'm on season 5 maybe now. There's 8 seasons, and some of the episodes are kind of painful to watch. Yeah, some of the episodes are kind of painful to watch. But I'm just puttering through it again. You know,
I wouldn't think that show would hold up very well.
It's not like I'm sitting down trying to. It's not like I'm sitting down and trying to do an essay on it or something like that. It's just sort of on when I'm doing other things. But anyway.
Pete, I got a show here. I don't know how many people even saw it. There's only 6 episodes.
Nope. Okay, let me. Right there. Oh my God. Yeah.
Police Squad.
Police Squad.
Literally had 6 episodes. I showed this to my son, my youngest son, probably a year or so ago. He couldn't get enough of it. He was laughing so hard. I was like, that makes me feel so good that you like this show. Oh, I had so much fun watching that.
Yeah, and how many years later was it that it finally got the movies?
I'm not sure. This was probably, let's see, Airplane was what, around 1980? And this was probably around 83 or so.
Airplane was 1980. This was Leslie Nielsen. You know, all of a sudden the Cracker Jack was well after Airplane. But then the other movies didn't come out for like 3 or 4 years after this went out.
I think they came out, but the first one was maybe late 80s.
I don't think 88 or 89, maybe.
Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen Police Squad,
oh yeah.
If you're into airplane humor, check it out. Here's another classic here for you, Pete.
I remember watching that when it came on too.
Bosom buddies. Oh, that was I think pretty much the very start of Tom Hanks.
Yeah, first role.
And then there's
Mazes and Monsters.
Peter Scolari from Newhart. He ended up in Newhart. Yeah. That's the only two things I can remember him in.
The same here. And this was pre-Newhart then, right? Yes.
Oh, yeah. Newhart may have been on at the time. Maybe. But he didn't join the cast until what? 3 or 4 seasons in?
Oh, yeah. 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 Anyway. So I went with, yeah. Well, I'm going to get to that one in a bit. I think I got that same picture.
Oh, Night Court?
Mrs. Garrett, remember I was saying how Mrs. Garrett was in Surprisingly Little? She was just barely over 1 season out of the 8 of Different Strokes.
Oh my gosh, that's it. I feel like she was on 4 seasons or so. That's crazy.
Just barely over a season.
Is that Molly Ringwald?
That is Molly Ringwald right there. That's the very first season of this show. Yeah. Then, of course, they all grew up. Oh. I'll jump right on to the next one, too. We'll get up to...
I had one of Soap as well.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and Chester, right there in the middle top, wasn't that Jack Tripper's father-in-law in his spin-off show?
Exactly right. What's his name?
I don't know, but he was a funny actor.
Robert Mandan? But I tell you who I like in this movie, this picture most of all is Richard Mulligan right here. He was great.
No, he was awesome. Wasn't he Bert? Was that his name?
Bert, yeah, that sounds right. Did you ever watch the movie S.O.B.?
No.
Blake Edwards' S.O.B. It's it's a restricted movie. It's about 1980, 81 in that area. Fantastic movie about Hollywood and making films and the corruption in Hollywood. It's just it's hilarious. If you ever get a chance to see it, give it a watch.
Wasn't he on? He had his own show, but wasn't it like the show before Golden Girls on Saturday nights?
Empty Nest.
Empty Nest.
Empty Nest with Christy McNichol.
Christy McNichol.
And who was his other daughter? Was somebody else that we've heard of. I forgot all about that one though. And that was also where the neighbor was David Leisure.
Wait a
minute. Do I know that? Why do I know that?
Wait a minute. Who was David Leisure? I know the name. David Leisure.
Anyway, then they used to they'd have crossovers between the Golden Girls.
Yeah, were they supposed to live in the same area?
They were. They're in the same neighborhood, supposedly. Pretty bizarre.
And look at young Billy Crystal here.
Yeah, really. Yeah. But there's a few links there. Okay, that's got to be an early cast right there. Because then I go to this one, which has got just the main characters, but Benson's very prominent right in there.
Although he spun off not too long after the show was on, wasn't it? Didn't he?
That's right. So Benson went on to do his own show where he went to the same role of the governor's mansion. Right?
Is that Dee Dee Cohn?
That is Dee Dee Cohn right there. Yeah. And remember, this is Missy Gold, and her sister was Tracy Gold, who was in Growing Pains.
Yeah. Wow, how about that? Both had their own show.
Yeah. Kind of crazy. And then, of course, it's not a spinoff, but I sort of going back to the soap, I thought, well, seeing that Catherine Hellman, of course, she's in Who's the Boss?
Who's the Boss?
Not a show that I have any great desire to sit down and watch all of, because it's on there too. I could watch all of it, but
I've never really watched it. And she also played Deborah's mom on Everybody Loves Raymond. She was on there several times.
Oh, right. I think you mentioned that before to me. You were like Everybody Loves Raymond. I've not watched that show enough to.
I've talked to several people who don't like it. I don't know. I don't get it. I think the interaction of the characters is just something else. It's really good. And that show, I thought, got better with time. Like the first season, I try not to watch because I don't think it's very good. Because the first season of Everybody Loves Raymond was just kind of a typical sitcom, where by the time I got to season 2 or 3, their characters were so well done that the show was really starting to kick into high gear. I think Newhart was another show that kind of got better as it went on.
It did, for sure. It found its.
They added more and more to that cast, and it was just such a crazy show by then. There aren't many shows like that get better. Usually they really start to
but
really tail off.
Great niche. Larry, Daryl meant a lot to that show too, because they could do so much with those guys. They were so freaking funny. I'm trying to get through Different Strokes right now because it's been around forever. I remember watching when I was a kid. I said I'm going to watch the whole damn thing just to see it again. Just flip it on. And I'm kind of struggling with it now. I think I'm 4 or 5 seasons in. I hadn't watched it in a couple of weeks. I watched a couple last night, and they're okay. But man, some of the premises in Different Strokes are cornball. And I saw that picture too. I'm going to back it up and show you that picture again. Wait, a different Benson. Is it a different Benson?
No, it's the same actor.
Is that supposed to be Benson?
No, Benson left for his own show, and they replaced him with a different character altogether.
Okay, so this is a later picture.
Because I think the guy with the ventriloquist, he wasn't on the very first season, was he?
Oh, okay. I don't know. But
the butler or the whatever he was, that's the giveaway because he took Benson's place, but he was not Benson though.
Gotcha. Right on. And Benson moved from. Yeah, Benson was the sarcasm. He was the funniest part of the show.
Benson lasted a lot longer than Soap, didn't it?
Yes, I think it did. Yeah. I bet you Benson lasted 6-7 seasons. Soap only was 3 or 4. It's Perry.
Soap was another one of those shows. I remember in grade school, there were so many kids in my class, their parents would not let them. They would not let them watch Soap. I'm like, really? I was like, my parents didn't say anything about it. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I had things broken in for me quite well with everybody who's so much older than me. Who's the boss? What are you gonna? Oh, I see your next one. I don't know if I'm there yet or not. Here's one that's right out of the blue. Do you remember that one?
I do. I didn't watch it, which is odd because I love Bob Uecker.
I like Bob Uecker too. That's why I did watch it a little bit. It was pretty corny. It wasn't anything too special, but I think it was around for a lot longer than you think it was.
I know I've said this before, but Bob Uecker is a tremendous baseball play-by-play announcer. He is one of the best ones ever. He's really good. He's been with the Milwaukee Brewers for years and years.
Yeah.
And I've got the MLB app so I can listen to any game, and sometimes I'll tune into a Brewers game just to listen to him. He's really good, and he's
still doing it.
Yes, and I haven't listened this year. I assume he's still doing it. But I haven't heard about him retiring. He was still doing it, I think 3 or 4 years ago at least.
How old would Bob Uecker be?
Oh, he's got to be around. He's got to be. Well, he was with the Cardinals in 64, and just ballpark. I'd say he was 24 at the time.
Well,
and that puts him at being born 1940.
Yeah.
So he's got to be 80, or he's got to be probably a little. He's probably like 80, 81, 82.
Wow.
Boy.
So we matched up.
This to me is one of the top shows of all time. This is definitely be in my top 3.
I agree 100%.
It's just amazing how they could go from losing Coach to getting Woody, and they didn't lose a step whatsoever.
No, and they didn't. I mean, it was kind of amazing. when you think about it, how they managed to do that.
I know we've talked before.
I was thinking mid to late 80s, but I'm really not sure. I got to check on that sometime because I don't know. He is freaking hilarious.
But when he does a baseball broadcast, it's just straight. I mean, he'll be, funny times, but he just does it like a straight announcer. He doesn't.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't try to be like a goofball or anything. Let's see.
Almost the same picture you have, isn't it?
Yep.
Same picture. That I did send that to each of them separately and got it signed, and then sent to the opposite one, and those are signed. George Wendt and John Ratzenberger.
All right. It says, oh my gosh, Bob Uecker's 87.
Oh, wow.
He's still the broadcaster for the Brewers.
Well, I guess it's what he loves to do.
There's a guy who was a terrible baseball player, but he's going to get into the Hall of Fame in the announcers section because he really is good. He's probably the last of the old time announcers, one of the last ones. Cheers did a good job of introducing new people as well.
Yes, they did. Yeah. Melding in with the old and the new. And I haven't got any clips in here from Frasier, though. Somebody said Frasier kept, whoever was in the chat said that Frasier kept their people for all 11 seasons. They did. It was amazing. What a fabulous show. Right there. Cheers from Frasier. It doesn't get any better than those two.
Look at the people they added from when they started. Woody wasn't there at the beginning. Frasier wasn't there. Lilith wasn't there.
Rebecca.
I love that last season of Rebecca wasn't there. I love that last season of Shelley Long, her season when Frasier, Lilith, and Sam and Diane. They had one episode where they hung out together, but I think they invited Sam and Diane to their house for dinner. It was hilarious episode. I like how they added more people. It's kind of like it doesn't fit into this talk, but like The Office, they added new people all the time. It was crazy.
I know we were at this point before too.
I was actually sad when the show went off the air.
I still remember. It's one of the few I can remember where I was, where we were sitting when we watched the final episode, and I recorded on VHS tape with the shows afterwards, like it was on the Carson show or whatever. They had to talk with all the cast of Cheers, that VHS tape is probably here somewhere. Where I don't know, but probably here somewhere. That's the scary part about it. But we had an apartment that we only had for 2 months, and friends come over a couple that we've all been married for like 30 years now, and watched that show. 94, 92.
Started in 82. It went 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So I guess 91, 92, somewhere around there.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Might have been 93. Probably 90. It was probably 93 actually.
Yeah, that was when that went off, that really stunk. I was like, no, I don't want you to go off the air. Because it was still funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, you should do a video where you wander through and just check out all your collections.
Just try to find something. Well, I've done that before. I said I do my own unboxings, right? I went down and brought a tote up from downstairs and unboxed it and stuff. And I found some amazing stuff in that friggin' box. I'll tell you that. Not to mention of which, reach behind me now. I know it's here, right? I love these games. I didn't even know I had this. It's a PlayStation 1 long box of Wing Commander 3. I found that in that box and I couldn't believe it.
God, I forgot about the long boxes.
Yeah, I bought it on eBay sometime or another. And,
yeah. Wow. PlayStation and Saturn, both of those long boxes.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So this says that Cheers was on for 11 seasons. I thought it was on 10.
11. No, it was 11 years. So it's probably 93, May 93.
It was May 20, 1993. But
Yep.
and then it said Frasier was on 11 years as well, right?
Yep, the same. They were the same. So that's 22 years shows.
22-year run for, well, I guess it was a 21-year because I think Frasier's popped in season 2 of Cheers.
Yeah. And
So
now they're going back with a new Frasier show this summer or next fall.
Wait, Frasier's coming back?
They're making a new show, Frasier. They pretty much confirmed it. Kelsey Grammer has.
What do you mean by new show? Like a new season or just an episode?
No, I mean they're bringing back a new series starring Frasier. No longer in Seattle. He's going to be in L.A. or someplace like that. And,
wow, interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I still haven't watched Frasier. I've only seen a few episodes here and there. I got to sit down and actually watch that show.
It's as well written as Cheers. That's why it lasted the way it did. It is extremely well done. Yeah, and the acting in it's excellent. The characters are the very best, right? So.
Oh, look, you got this picture of Night Court. This is the original cast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because Bull, Harry, and Dan are the only 3 that lasted for the whole show, right?
We're missing somebody. There's the blonde girl. What year was she in? They're
missing the attorney.
Yeah.
Doggone it. What's her name? Because Marky Post replaced her.
Billy. Was it Billy? But seems to me that at one point, this girl here, whose name is Paula Kelly, for some reason, why would I remember that? She was the prosecuting attorney. I think Billy came in after. I think this is the very beginning. So I don't have a picture of one.
I only remember.
She was the court clerk.
She was the court clerk, so she was on before Mac.
Right. Selma Diamond, of course, would have kept there, but she passed away. Then they brought in Florence, and she passed away in real life, and that's when they ended up with Marsha Warfield.
Yeah, it's too bad Selma died. She was hilarious in that show.
Yeah, and this is the cast we all remember, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The classic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look up Night Court. So the first, what was that? Paula Kelly? Was that? Oh, no, wait.
Seems to be Paula Kelly was.
She was the first public defender.
Yeah.
When did Billy come in then? Season 2?
That seems to me just as season 2 for one season, because what was her name? Christine something. She wasn't around all that long. Billy wasn't around long, but Christine was the 3rd year at least, I think, when she came in.
Yeah, she came in, I mean, for sitcoms, fairly late.
Yep.
Ellen Foley played Billy Young.
Ellen Foley, yep. Yep.
And remember what she's best known for?
Ellen Foley. No, I don't.
By the way, she's from St. Louis. How about that? She was on Bat Out of Hell. She was the female voice in Bat Out of Hell.
Really? I had no idea.
Yeah, I was just double checking because I remember hearing this. It says she's released 5 solo albums, but is best known for her collaborations with rock singer Meatloaf.
Wow. Well, that's funny because I've seen that video. If she's in the video, she looks nothing like she does in friggin' Night Court.
Do you think she's even like? I remember watching a video of Video Killed the Radio Star.
Right.
Remember that by the Buggles?
Yep.
And on there, they have 2 women singing background in this video. One woman was not real attractive. The other woman was very attractive. The very attractive woman was not on the song. They just hired her in for the video. And I'm pretty sure the other woman was the actual female singing in the background.
Yeah.
So I know what you're talking about. I remember seeing that video and I was like, that doesn't look like her at all. But I mean,
other than the hairstyle change, though, maybe if you get a good look, it is absolutely her.
Maybe it's possible she didn't go on tour or something.
I don't know.
Because it says right here, she was on the hit single Paradise by the Dashboard Light from Bat Out of Hell.
Wow.
Oh, here you go. Carla DeVita is featured in the video.
Oh.
Ellen Foley. She's lip syncing. Maybe they did do that. Maybe they just flipped her out. That's weird, isn't it?
That is strange. One more. Well, I got my autographed picture of Bull.
So, out of this group, everyone's alive but Harry, right?
That's right. As far as I know.
Oh, what a shame.
I'm not sure about that for some reason, but I think it's he died young, eh?
Yeah, he was only in his 60s. He can't remember what he died of. Wait, isn't John Larroquette coming back in the reboot of this?
Yes. Yep. Dan Fielding.
I don't.
That's a show that had some weird twists and turns in it that seem to always navigate them too, isn't it?
Oh, the show was so inappropriate too.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that's what made it. That's what just made it hilarious. I still don't understand how they can redo the show and have the same spirit of the original.
Well,
it's gonna have to be pretty tame.
They haven't managed to do it yet. All right.
Yeah, we'll see who else is in this. Wait, Marky Post really disappeared after this, didn't she?
She did. Yeah, don't see her in a whole lot of anything.
What was the show she was in before this?
TJ Hugger?
I don't know.
Fall Guy.
That's the only two things I saw her in, other than she was briefly a model on Sale of the Century.
Okay. She was in There's Something About Mary.
I take it back. It was either Sale of the Century or Card Sharks.
Wow.
I remember it was Jim Perry was the host.
Jim Perry. Yep. Host of Definition. 5-time champion. You just won a new blender.
Very luxurious. All right, is that all we got, Pete?
Pulsating action. I believe I have one more.
Oh,
I had to put this in.
Just sneaking that in.
Yeah. Oh, I must
89.
have one more. Yeah, 89. But I mean, it's still a classic, right? Because it's all sort of this NBC lineup. NBC just ruled the sitcoms through the 80s, really.
Oh my gosh, they have
70s and then NBC in the 80s.
Oh, you know what? Here you go. Here's speaking of the lineup. Remember they had Cosby, Family Ties, Cheers, and Night Court.
Right. Whenever we mentioned Family Ties, I was not a big fan, mind you, but
you know, I like the show. I watched it the whole way through. I really like Michael J. Fox.
Yeah,
but that's a show that doesn't hold up well.
No,
I've watched a few episodes not too long ago, and I'm like, this isn't as funny as I thought it was originally.
Yeah.
It had really funny moments, but it's not one of those shows I'm going to go back and rewatch or anything.
I've tried to watch Seinfeld start to finish a few different times, and I've never made it past like season 2. Don't know why it is. At some point or another, the cringiness just sort of annoys me.
Well, it didn't start really getting good until season 3, though.
Well, that's it, you know. Well, true. That's a good point. I should just work my way through it.
Season 1's not very good. Season 2's okay. Season 3, they start to hit their stride.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen. They're very rare. There's one ever come on that I haven't seen the episode. It's just sort of nice to put them in more or less a chronological order, right? What do we have left?
I think that's it. That's all I have, I believe.
I only had one more picture left
Hopefully
for Lance.
Lance will watch this and see this again.
That's right. We've been 2 hours and 5 minutes and 33 seconds.
Jeez, we had 2 hours?
Yep, we are at 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. That was fun though, just talking about stuff. I mean, we miss so much. It's crazy. You can't talk about them all, but these are just I tried to go through things like we both went through things. I love that you brought in a few like Taxi and stuff. I never thought too much about Taxi.
I was putting together the list on my end here, and my 70s list was like this long, and my 80s list was only like this. And I was like, wait, what am I missing? Because it seems like all my favorite shows were in the 80s. There was so many good things, but I didn't have nearly as many written down. I think there was a lot of really big shows, maybe not a ton that I liked, but there was, the heavy hitters were all there.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. Again, in 10 minutes, I'll think, oh my God, why didn't I talk about that one? Because that's a great show. Yeah, but it happens, right? You're not going to be able to hit them all, but I don't know. Anyway, so in 2 weeks' time, we'll be back for episode 3 of Wrestling, Video Games, and Retro Adventures. So that'll be what? That will be March 30th, right? Wow. March will be almost over. We'll be in spring.
March 30th. We'll have done, between now and then, we'll do movie night.
That's right. That's a week from tomorrow night, right? You have Go Game Go tomorrow night. What are you guys doing tomorrow night? It's an open chat tomorrow night?
Yeah, as far as I know. And then the following week is movie night.
Following week is movie night. And is Bar coming with us? Bar going to be on?
Yes.
Yep. So it's going to be Go Game Go, Jeff and Stu. And it's going to be, I'll be there as well as Bar. And we're going to be talking about Rocky movies. Correct?
Oh, yep. And there might be a special guest.
Oh, there you go.
We'll have to double check. As far as I know, what's that?
Burt Young?
Maybe it's Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, there you go.
That would be funny if we just sent him an email. Hey, you want to come on the show? Talk Rocky?
Why not, right? You never know.
He's probably not doing much next Wednesday.
Yeah, that's right. And I guess that's about it. So next week, I haven't got a person lined up. I had one that sort of, I always say it fell through. I'll say the person wasn't available. I was lined up. So I'm going to have somebody next week, Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, do a little interview with some of the people that we see. I've got a few things coming down the pipe, and it's Perry. So
too bad B. Arthur isn't still with us. You could have gotten her in.
Yeah, it would have been great. Oh well.
I just noticed Fonzie here. I don't know why I didn't see Fonzie down there before.
Oh yeah, I gotta have the Fonz.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, wow, 2 hours and 10 minutes into it. Gotta love it.
And we'll have to figure out what we're going to do on the next episode of this show.
We'll probably get right back into either video games or wrestling, and then I don't know. We'll do one of those too. Maybe we'll talk about in the future. We're going to try to get some special guests on as well, especially in the wrestling world, maybe the video game world too, and maybe the retro adventure world. But it's a few different people who might come on. We'll just talk to, get the chat to ask them some questions, and we'll pepper them with a few ourselves, and it should be pretty good. I got a few people in mind, and we'll go from there. But maybe next time we'll just look at some other old time wrestling or whatever we decide to come up with for them.
I've been watching a lot of wrestling, a lot of really old wrestling.
That's the best kind.
Just started watching the Georgia Championship Wrestling, which I haven't watched since I was a young teenager in the early 80s.
Wow.
All those memories are coming back. Gordon Soley as the the announcer. I was like, oh, man, goodness. And that show was so funny because they would have him do interviews, and people would come out, they'd get into a skirmish, then they'd go show a match, and then they'd come back to interviews, and they'd come out and start yelling at each other. And it was just the whole show. Oh, by the way, before we go, I was watching George the Animal Steele because I saw this George Steele video pop up, and I was like, I got to see if he pins him, because now I'm on a mission to see if George Steele actually pins somebody ever.
Yeah,
I can't imagine. So he's facing off this guy, his very first match in WWF. The Animal comes in, immediately grabs him by the arm, and just like nails his shoulder. He spent the next 5 minutes just pounding this guy's shoulder. He then at one point at the very end, he put his like a chicken wing, put his arm behind his back, and George Steele lifted him up by his forearm only, so the guy's entire weight was pulling down on his shoulder. He dropped him. As soon as he got up, the guy's like, I'm done, I quit. And then George threw him as he was saying he quit. That's how fast it was. And his shoulder was out of the socket. You could see it. Not only was it out of the socket, but his arm had turned completely around. The elbow was pointing out.
My God.
And he threw him out of the ring, and he just started going. He just went crazy, just pounding him on the shoulder. I mean, he really hurt the guy, which I was shocked to see because it didn't seem like something he would do. I don't know if that was just he was still in character. Or
I think that was how he started out.
Maybe the guy pissed him off beforehand. I don't know, but
I don't know.
He just went after that shoulder until he popped it out and completely turned his whole arm inside out. It was pretty disgusting. I'll say that. At the end, I'm watching like this. I'm like,
oh Jesus. On that note, maybe we'll find. But we got to be careful because the first time out, all of a sudden, we had copyright for the little bit of WWF, the showing the crowd at the WrestleMania 4. We had a problem with that. Then the music hit, but the music was allowing the video to be up, just monetization, which nothing's monetized anyway. So that's not too bad. But we got to be careful with that stuff with wrestling because they're awfully protective of the old wrestling videos, I think. But
yeah, we're not able to show much, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Maybe,
anyway,
maybe we get flagged again on your T-shirt design.
Yeah, really. Oh my God.
You showed that at the beginning.
Yeah, I did. That's right.
Hopefully, no one from T Public is watching.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on, Pete.
Yo, hey, I'm not having you on. We're on. This is our show. Anyway, guys, till next time, take care. Hope to see you next couple weeks.
All righty.